My name is Christoph Yao Gadese. I hold MPhils in mathematics education. I'm the one taking you through Math 101, Algebra and Trigonometry. We are on Unit 4, Polynomial Functions and Linear Programming. We are going to deal with Section 5, Inequalities in 1 and 2 variables. Let's look at the section objectives. By the end of this section, you should be able to A. Solve inequalities in one variable. B. Illustrate the solution of inequalities in one variable on the number line. And C. Draw graph of inequalities involving two variables. Let's look at how to graph inequalities. Given the inequality x is greater than 2, you are to graph it. So you use the number line. You locate the number, which is 2. You do a circle on 2, then greater than 2. So it means that all the numbers beyond 2. So that means that from the circle, you have to draw the arrow to move towards the positive direction from 2. Now, because it is only greater than 2 itself is not part of it, you are not going to shade inside the circle. You only draw the circle and draw the arrow moving towards the right to show that you are talking about all the numbers that are greater than 2. The length of the arrow depends on how long you wish to draw it. Let's look at another one. X less than or equal to -1. So you go to -1 and you draw a circle. Then you are talking about all the values that are less than -1. So -2 is less than -1. -3 is less than -1. So all the values to the left of -1 are included. Then you look at the inequality and it is less than or equal to. So this time around, we are going to shade inside the circle so that the arrow will move towards the left of -1. Let's look at the one that involves double inequality. -1 less than or equal to x less than 3. So over here, you do two circles, one on -1 and the other one on 3. Now, the one on -1, because the inequality is less than or equal to, you shade inside. Because you have -1 less than or equal to x, so we will shade inside. But the other one, x is less than 3, just less than, so we will not shade in. Then we connect the two circles with a line. The last one, -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 3. Over here, we still have to draw on -1 and 3 our circles. And because the two inequalities are less or equal to, we shade both. So -1 less than or equal to x, we shade. Then x less than or equal to 3, we shade. So we are going to shade both of the inequalities because the two inequalities involve less than or equal to. Now that we learn how to graph the inequalities, we will solve questions and illustrate the answer on the number line. Find the truth set of -5 less than 2x minus 3 less than or equal to 1 and illustrate the solution on a number line. So let's do the solution. We consider the inequality. It's a double inequality. So in the middle, we have 2x minus 3. So the first thing we will do is to move the 3, which has no variable attached to it, to both sides of the inequality. We'll move it to the left and to the right. So when we move it to the left, we have -5 plus 3, then less than 2x, less than or equal to. Then we move it to the right, and then we have 1 plus 3. Then -5 plus 3 will give you -2. 2x less than or equal to 1 plus 3 will give us 4. Then we divide through by 2. So we have -2 over 2, which will give us -1. 2x over 2, which gives us x. And then we have 4 over 2, which gives us 2. And so the truth set x such that x is greater than -1 but less than or equal to 2. Then we draw the number line and draw circles on the two numbers, -1 and 2. Then we join the two circles with a line. Then the circle on -1 we will not shade, but the circle on 2 we will shade because of the less than or equal to that we have there. Let's learn how to draw the graphs of this inequality. So we will draw the graph of A, x plus y greater than 4. B, 2x minus 3y less than or equal to 6. Now, to draw the graph, we will first change the inequalities into equations. Then with 2 points, we can draw a line. So we will use the intercept method. We consider the first one, x plus y is equal to 4. So we choose a value for x, and we say that if x is equal to 0, so in place of x we put 0, and when we simplify, y will be equal to 4. So one of our points to be plotted will be 0, 4. Then we now say, what about when y is equal to 0? Then we put it in place of y. Then we have x plus 0 is equal to 4. So x will be 4. So that point will be 4, 0. So we have these 2 points that when we plot, can give us the straight line for the first inequality. We move to the second inequality. We again change it to equation. Then, as we have done, when x is equal to 0, then we put 0 into the equation. Then we simplify. We see that our y will be -2. So we have 0, -2 as our first point. We then make y 0 and put it into the equation. So we simplify. So we have 2x minus 3 into bracket 0 is equal to 6. So 2x will be equal to, we divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 3. When we finish, we put 3, 0 together to have another point. Then we plot this one, and that will also give us a straight line. We look at these lines when we move to the next stage. After plotting the points for x plus y greater than 4, this is how the line will look like. And you see that it moves from 4 on the y-axis to 4 on the x-axis. And it is inclining towards the left, from the lower part of the right to the upper part of the left. We look at the graph for the second inequality, 2x minus 3y less than or equal to 6. So we plot the points 0, -2 and 3, 0, and then you see the graph. It can be extended to the right and to the left so that it becomes longer than this. Now we are going to have a multiple of inequalities that we will be plotting on the same graph, and that will give us a set of points that will satisfy all the inequalities. So let's look at this example. Indicate by shading the set of all points p into bracket x, y in the oxy plane that satisfies simultaneously the inequalities 2x plus y greater than or equal to 3, x greater than or equal to y, 2y minus 1 greater than or equal to 0, x less than or equal to 4. Solution. So we will first of all draw the graph for each of them. As we have already learned, the first one, we will change the inequality to equal to sign. Then we say when x is equal to 0, we put it into the equation and simplify. We get y to be 3. So the first point to be 0, 3. Then we pick another value for x, that if x is equal to 1, what will be y? We put x is equal to 1 into it. We simplify and we get y to be 1. So the other point will be 1, 1. For x greater than or less than y, we remove the inequality and we introduce the equal to sign. So it becomes x is equal to y. What it means is that if x is 1, y will be 1. If x is 2, y will be 2. If x is 0, y will be 0. And if x is 4, y will be 4. Then we move to the third one. 2y minus 1 greater than or equal to 0. We can simplify it and get y is equal to 1 out of 2, which is a straight line that is going to pass through 0.5, and it will be a horizontal line. Then the last one, x less than or equal to 4, is the same as x is equal to 4. And so this will be a vertical line that will pass through 4. So we are going to plot all these points and get the respective lines. Here is the graph for the inequalities given. The first inequality, which is 2x plus y greater than or equal to 3, is the line labeled 2x plus y is equal to 3. And this line passes through 3, 0 and 1, 1. The next line is x greater than or equal to y, and it is the line labeled x is equal to y. And this line passes through 0, 0, 4, 4, 5, 5, and so on. The next one is 2y minus 1 greater than or equal to 0. And that is the line labeled 2y minus 1 is equal to 0. And it is a horizontal line that passes through 0.5 on the y-axis. The last one is x less than or equal to 4. And it is the line that has been labeled x is equal to 4. And that line is a vertical line passing through 4 on the x-axis. Now, there are some points of intersection of this line, but some give you a four-sided figure. Those that give you that four-sided figure are labeled A, B, C, D. In our next lesson, we will learn more about these points that give you the four-sided figure. Some will give you three-sided, some will give you five-sided. It depends on the number of inequalities that you have. Thank you for your attention.